That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
Yo, Panther Nation, what's good? Hey, welcome back. It was just here yesterday. Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. All right, we got a good one for you tonight. Tonight, we're going to preview the Panthers' first preseason game against the Cleveland Browns tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here in Charlotte at the Bank of America Stadium. Okay, and tonight, I got another special guest for you. We had Doug last night. We had CD from Two Growls, One Roar on Monday. All right. So y'all all know this guy. All right. He is a South Carolinian. Okay. Down there, by the good waters of the, of the beach, not too far from where I'm from. He's a good dude. He's had me on the show. He's been on our show before and just overall great guy. And I just want to bring up Mr. Clay from the Roppstar Report. What's going on, Clay? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Football season's here, and honestly, it's like almost unbelievable, but it's like I am just so excited and just like because I've been so bored lately, to be honest. Like it's like baseball's getting old. We don't have basketball, hockey's in off season. It's like football's here, and it's like you see all these hype videos. We see all the hype videos for college football to start up, which is obviously that's right around the corner too. So it's like, but no, I was like, when you asked me to come on your show today, I was so excited because it was like, I love watching you and Doug, and we last year I felt like we grew together, and we doing a bunch of shows last year together. So once you hit me up, I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm coming. So yeah, appreciate you having me on, and look forward to talking some Panther football with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I appreciate you being here. And real quick, before we get into it, I just want to thank everybody that is in here, everybody that's watching on my channel, everybody that's watching on Clay channel. We thank you for the love and support. And while you're on your way in, you're sitting down, getting comfortable, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, follow button on whatever platform you're watching on my channel and on Clay channel as well. Okay. Again, shout out to all of the front office members here on Armchair GM CJ. I appreciate all the love and support. If you want to become a member of the front office, the link is on my YouTube page. Also, I know Clay has a link. If you want to become a member on his channel, make sure you hit that link as well. Go ahead and help us out. Everything that y'all give to us goes right back into our channels, and we greatly appreciate all the love and the support. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Clay, like you said, man, mind you, I've been the opposite. Okay, I haven't been bored. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been trying to get things to slow down a little bit because now.
I say bored. I say bored, like in a way of like I'm not getting to watch football, and like I'm on live all the time. Yeah, I'm making content all the time, right? But I'm just bored of like if I'm not doing it or talking it, what am I really doing? You know what I mean? So
it does get to a point sometimes where you're like, damn. You're like, come on, man. Like, hurry up and start football. Like, we've been talking about the same crap for 2 months straight. It's like, how many times can I make a different title talking about the same subject? You know what I mean? And I know you get what I'm saying. I know you get what I'm saying.
I've made like several live streams about the same damn thing, but then it's a total different title.
Yeah, man, that's what it is. But hey, it's here, and let me tell you, and I'm glad I'm gonna be in the bank tomorrow. Rocking my chain. I got my good chain my wife made for me. So yeah, I'm
that
happy,
could be a
man.
good luck charm this season. Who knows? That could end up being like the difference of the season.
Well, let me tell you, if I go in this stadium this game and we win, we might be going to the Steelers game. But that is my children's. Shout out to my twins, James and Layla. Their birthday is the 21st. We're
Oh,
having a
nice.
big party for them on the 16th. But
Okay.
you know, when it comes to this stuff, they're like me. We were like, well, you know, what do y'all want to do on your actual birthday? They looked at us and they was like, nothing. They were like, we're fine. So we might end up going to the Steelers game. But if I go to the Steelers game and I rock that chain, and you know, week 3 against the Falcons, I go in there and rock that chain and we win, I promise you. I promise you, I'm gonna wear it everywhere I can. My wife's gonna be like, "Take that damn chain off." I'm like, "No."
Right. Right.
But yeah, man. But all right, well, let's get into a couple comments here. All right, let me see. Hold on, make sure I get to
You got a lot.
Panther Dog. What's going on? How you doing, big dog? All right, Nick. I remember this time. What's going on, Nick? How you doing, man? Marcos Cash said, "What's up, Clay? How you doing, Marcos?" Eric Blair, what's going on with you? How you doing? How you doing? Eric say Cash. All right. Laura, how you doing? Go Panthers. Yes, ma'am. Go Panthers. All right. Let me see. Ready for some football finally? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm not even gonna lie. The Ravens and Colts game is on mute, you know, on the TV right here. Now, you know, if y'all see me do one of these numbers, I'm just checking to see what the score is. Yeah. Earl, what's going on with you? How you doing? Making true money. What's up with you, man? How you doing? He said, "What's going on, Clay?"
What's
All
up?
right. Hey, look, he's got Baltimore Indy on the TV. Yep. Hey, let me tell you, yes, Anthony Richardson got rocked.
I do.
He got rocked. Yes, he got rocked and went straight out the game too. I
Oh, yeah.
thought
They were
you know,
like,
I
nope.
hope he's okay.
Yeah. They were like,
Yeah.
nope. But I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah, man. Yes. Let me see. Eric says CJ and Clay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Hey, all right, what's up, Doug? What you
Dougie.
cooking up? Hey, man, I just want to tell you, you didn't play the song again like I told you to. You know, but it's all good. Still love, man. Still love.
I think Doug, I was trolling Doug in the chat. I said, Doug, Head and Shoulders needs to sponsor your channel.
Let me tell you, I added on to that comment. I think Doug saw it. He grinned a little bit and was just
Yeah.
like, "Yeah,
Then
I'm not gonna put
he
that up."
yeah.
Hey, Earl said, "Hell, I have to hit the like button on CJ side now." Hey, let me tell you, go back and forth. Hit the like button on both of them. We appreciate you. Kendall Johnson, what's going on? Said, "Love this collab. Fans of both of you guys." Hey, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
Appreciate you.
that,
Appreciate you.
Kendall.
What's going on, Shane? Said, "What's good, CJ and Clay? How you doing, Shane?"
What's up, man?
Marcos Cass said, "What up, Panther Nation? Subscribe for the latest news, updates, and analysis on the Carolina Panthers. Don't forget to show your love and support, pounding that like
Marcos is
button on
on
your
it.
way in." Let me tell
Marcos
you, I
is
couldn't
on
have
it.
said it any better myself. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Chevy 80Z says it's all about the thumbnail. Man, let me tell you, it's funny. The thumbnails that I sit there and I work on the longest, I end up just deleting the whole thing. I'd be like, I worked so long to make this crap. You know, and then sometimes the one I'm sitting there scrambling, I'm making 5 minutes, and I'm like, damn, I like
It
that
ends up
one.
being the one that's just, like ridiculously good. Like the same thing with like TikTok too. Like I'll make like the shittiest like short for a minute, and then it's like that's the one that blows up.
That's the
And I'm
one that
like,
pops up. Yep.
but the ones that work really hard on it's like, oh, that one gets like 15,000 views, but then the other
Yeah.
one will be like
Yeah.
1,000. I'm like,
Hey, there's a video I did on the defensive lineman, and I put it on TikTok and on YouTube. And when I say I put so much effort into that video, and when it got over on TikTok, I was like, yeah, I said this one gonna get some views. And then after I was like, okay, I was like, whatever. And that's where I kind of get that from. I was like, damn. And then the ones I sit there and be sitting in the truck at work or something, and I do something in 30 seconds in the job, they blow up. But yeah.
yeah,
I need one of them necklaces, CJ. Hey, let me tell you, holla at me. You got my email. Holla at me. If anybody wondering what he's talking about, my beautiful wife on the other side of the wall here with Nella's Creation, she 3D printed me this Panther chain.
that
Okay,
thing is awesome.
she printed the logo, and then I got the black and blue links on it. Okay, and let me tell you, she's working on something else for me too. And if I get that and we start winning, y'all not gonna be able to tell me nothing. Nothing.
I
I
told
mean,
you it could
absolutely
end up being the
nothing.
it could be the difference in the season, man. Could
I'm,
be.
I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, why is he in the grocery store with that on? Don't worry about me.
Hey,
Don't worry about
listen,
me.
we go to work with this thing on. All right, we're gonna go everywhere.
Like, let me get my pork and beans in peace. I'm out. All right, y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all up too much longer tonight. Okay, so Clay, got some questions for you. Got some slides here,
Yeah,
and we're gonna get into some topics. About the Panthers
sure.
in general, because it's the first time I've had you on this year. We're gonna
Yeah,
talk a little bit about the game and a little bit about the Panthers as a whole. Okay,
sure.
so first. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Clay. My bad. You didn't hear me ask the question, did you?
Nope.
I apologize. You know what? Because I did this. All right, there we go. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, leading up to the first preseason game, what are your overall feelings on this Carolina Panthers team?
Um, I would say like right now, like overall with this team, like I'm excited. Like, there's a lot that we could take away from this training camp so far, right?
Hmm.
But I'll be honest, like, we're finally suited up for this Cleveland Browns team, and I know it doesn't really count for anything, and it's technically football and all that stuff, but we're still kind of getting our first look, kind of this Dave Canales era. Like I feel like last year we got just a taste. I feel like this is going to be the year where we get a really deeper into the Dave Canales era, right? Because
Hmm.
I think this is really going to be a progress year for us. Like that's what I see this being is a progress year. I think that with everything we've got going on, I just think that we have so much potential with this team because there's a lot of unknowns with this team, but there's so much potential, right? Like there's a clear sense I feel like with this team that with Dave Canales though, in terms of just structure, energy, accountability.
Hmm.
Like Canales is doing the smart thing by giving the starters the preseason snap, which is something I've been pounding the table for because he didn't do it last year. Well, he did it for one game, but the results were obviously we came out sluggish. It seemed like we were unprepared to start the season, right? And that shift alone, I think, does show some self-awareness from the coaching staff. So for me particularly, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited and with that, with the unknown potential, um, but yeah, that's where my head's at right now. I just feel like under Dave Canales, I just feel like we really have a good sense of idea and identity of who we really are as a team, and it just continues to grow each and every day for me, even through training camp.
Okay. All right, bet. And I feel you, and I agree. And I'm gonna add on to that a little bit. I also
Sure.
like just in general, even the past two seasons, Dan Morgan for me. Okay, Dan
Hmm.
Morgan has really, quote unquote, put this team on his back a little bit. He had great drafts last year, this year. Um, Now it didn't really work out with Jonathan Brooks last year. He's gonna be out for this year, but
Right.
it's
Right.
still it's still to be determined with him. And I think if he comes back and is healthy, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah.
He really put a focus on fixing the offense last year, even some still this year in the draft. But then he went to work on the defensive side of the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, I think it's just a confidence that you haven't seen with this team in general. Okay.
Right.
Now the fan base itself is still divided like hell. I mean, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. There are people that are like, we ain't gonna win but 2 or 3 games. There's some of us that like, we win the division easy this year. And then there's some like me. I'm kind of in the middle right now. Like I kind of have a floor and a ceiling for the team,
Me too.
and I'm hoping they hit somewhere in the middle.
In the middle,
But
that's where I'm
yeah.
aiming to. I mean, here's the
Hmm.
thing too, like CJ, to add on to that, it's like if we're talking about offensively, like there's so much exciting pieces, right? You got Tedero McMillan, who looks like the real deal, right? I think Bryce Young finally has a system that might cater to his strengths under Canales. I think that, but the potential isn't the same as the production, right? Until
Yeah.
we see that rhythm, that timing, the efficiency from the offense, right? And I think people being skeptic is fair, right? But I
Yeah.
also think people
Totally
being,
fair.
yeah, and I think the people being believers in Bryce Young is fair too, right? You can't deny what the kid did the last 10 weeks of the season last year. Had a top 5 QBR rating, went 4-6, but the last 3 games, we're looking at a guy who threw 10 touchdowns in the last 3 games of the season, right?
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to him also building off of what he did at the end of the year last year, right?
Facts.
I think defensively, though, man, there's a lot of young talent here. And I've been saying that, you did some big investments in getting Trayvon Moehrig, right? And you getting these other guys. And then, of course, the rookie edge duo. But there's also plenty of unanswered questions there, right? Particularly at the corner and safety depth. Like, when we were, I was watching Doug's show earlier. So, hearing the guy, what was his name again? Dennis. Thank you. Hearing Dennis talk about that which was nice, kind of made me feel a little bit better about it. But not to mention the long term. The thing is not to mention the long term pass rush situation. Like it feels like this is a group I feel like with a lot of upside, right?
Yeah.
We don't have a clear identity yet of them, but there's so much a clear upside with this group. So I think there's a reason though to believe in the direction. And I think there are still some deep scars from 2023 and 2024. But they have to show us it's different now. That is the main difference.
Okay. Hey, you know what? And I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball here at you. I was going to throw another one, but this just popped to my head just now. Okay. Now, when I say the fan base is divided, the biggest thing we're divided on is Bryce. Okay.
For sure.
And I got to ask you this question. Okay. Because you mentioned the last 10 games of the season. All right. Now, when people talk about Bryce, okay, yes, his last 10 games of the season, he played better. Okay. His first 2 were garbage. And when people pull up stats and figures and stuff, yes, they're bringing up the entire season, which is valid. It is valid. You bring up the entire season, which is valid. But, the thing that's kind of made me scratch my head is, we had the 3-game run, but we had the Buccaneers, we had the Chiefs, and we had the Eagles. Okay. And we were close to winning all those games. All right. But specifically like the Chiefs game, and even those 3 in general, the goalpost always gets moved for me when you talk about Bryce. Okay. I've heard people say that, like the Chiefs game. Okay. Now, mind you, Bryce drives us down the field. We score. We take the lead. All right. I think it was like a minute left, or I don't know if it's a little over a minute or whatnot. So in my mind, Clay, and I'm going to ask you this, in my mind, I'm saying, all right, cool. I know our defense is trash. Okay. But even still, it's on the defense now to try and get a stop. And I hear a lot of people say, like, well, if he would have done more, in the early part of the game, we wouldn't be in this situation. And I'm just like, and I'm not trying to compare Bryce Young to any other quarterback, but I don't hear, that kind of flack with other teams. This is like, Patrick Mahomes had close games. You know what I mean? And like I said, don't nobody go crazy. I'm not comparing Bryce to Patrick Mahomes, at all. Okay. But any other quarterback, you have a close game. And my thing is, when it comes down to crunch time, there was 3 games in a row, where Bryce led us to be able to get in a position to win the game. You know what I mean? We got in the Tampa Bay game, went to overtime, Chuba fumbled. Okay. We get to the Kansas City game, Bryce leads us down the field, we take the lead, the defense, and in particular, Dane Jackson just stood there and watched Pat Mahomes run past him.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm just gonna jog after him. You know what I mean?
PTSD from that one, because I will never forget that play, because I was screaming at the TV and my wife and my daughter were in the kitchen, and I'm just like, what the like, dang, like, and my wife is just like, are you okay? So yeah, I trust me. I remember that play wholeheartedly because it's just like, how do you watch this guy just walk by you? Just
Hmm.
like it's just like, well, here you go.
Yeah, I feel you. You know,
Yep.
and Eternal is one of those he's a little bit skeptic, right? He says we the only fan base that will pick I think it's caveats to give self hope. He did good in the last 2 seconds in the third quarter. It's crazy.
Well,
Okay.
I
He
mean, you could also bring up the fact that, he threw the game winning touchdown against the Philadelphia Eagles, but then Xavier Leggett dropped it.
he
So,
dropped it. Yeah,
and that
But
was an
even
absolute dime, by the way.
dime and even Eternal, if your statement is true, but the thing is, he still did good. And that's the thing I don't get. It's just like no matter if what little bit of good he does, it's like, okay, well, he did this good, but let me move the goalpost over here. But it was only because of this. Okay, well, you know what? Bryce goes back over this way. Well, let me slide it over here. It's only because of this. But and I know I got off on the tangent, but I say
No,
all
you're
that
good.
to say too, I do believe it will be different this year. I do think this will be something. And I always say this. I hope Bryce gets off to a good start. I hope the team gets off to a good start because I don't think that we can afford to have another slow start this season. Okay. We need to get the momentum going from the jump. And I do believe that that can happen. And part of that is how he looked going down the stretch. No, we did not win every game, but to sit there and try to just wipe away any kind of good that he did just baffles me. It,
It's
it,
just
it just
hard
baffles
too,
me.
though. I think it's also hard to just blame Bryce when your defense is allowing 180 yards per game in rushing yards. I mean, we were dead last in every category defensively besides passing. But even in passing, we were 23rd. Everywhere else, we're in the bottom tier. Like, and I
Hmm.
think the next one was like pass defense efficiency, but we were like 29th. Like,
Hmm.
it was just like it's just like, but every other category, we're 32nd. Like, if we're going to blame Bryce on the offensive side, how about blame the worst defense, like from a statistical standpoint,
Yeah.
in NFL history last year? So
Yeah.
if you want to blame Bryce on the offensive side, but also give it to the defense as well. You have to
Yeah.
blame both sides.
And let me tell you, and that's what I always try to say. And they call me a Bryce sexual and all this stuff. And I'm like, my thing is, I'm just like, yo, I root for the kid. I'm not saying that he does everything right, but all I'm saying is everything is not his fault. Okay, because this is a team game. Yes, when it gets out there, he is the motor that makes this thing run on offense, and he is responsible for leading us, putting points, on the board. And to that effect, what I saw later on in the season was a good sign that he
Right.
was progressing and the offense was progressing and getting better at doing that very
Well,
thing.
I
So
want to
that's all I'm gonna
comment
say.
real quick to Eternal because he goes, make it make sense that we were ranked 32nd on defense but 29th on offense. I just did. I just said that if you're going to blame Bryce on the offensive side, also have the same smoke for the defense.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure that makes it pretty self-explanatory.
Oh, I was trying to put the comment up there. Was it this one here?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
no. It was uh, uh right there. It says our defense was ranked 32nd, but our offense was 29th. Make it make sense. I'm just saying you can
Okay. Gotcha.
blame both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. I got
If
you.
you're gonna
Hmm.
give it, if you're gonna give smoke to one side, give the same smoke to the other.
Hmm. Where is due? Where is due? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
got
I
you.
also could say, well, Evero didn't make the correct adjustments all season. He didn't. Why is J.C. Horn staying on one side of the field and not maneuvering with the best wide receiver on the opposite team? We could also have that discussion as well.
Hmm. They don't want to hear that, Clay. They don't want to hear
I can go on.
that.
I can go on for hours. So let's. Yeah, I mean, just keep it coming.
I got you. Okay. All right. So overall, what I get from you, and I think I agree, is we both have optimism for this team. We both think that the things are there in place, especially on the offense, for them to succeed this year. But at the same time, we got to see it first. You know what I mean? We,
Absolutely,
we we we
absolutely.
can't just be like, it's blah 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 blah. We got to see it, and then it's like, okay, cool. We'll get a little bit excited as it goes on. We get a little more excited, get a little more excited. But we got to start off here, and not start off here this year. Because let me tell you, I was up here last year. I was just like, oh, we doing this, this, and this, and it was just like, so yeah. All right, bet.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on here.
Yeah.
All right, so. Oh man, did I do it again? Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, I'm sorry, y'all.
You're
My
good.
apologies. Okay, so Clay, what do the starters on offense and defense need to do tomorrow to ease any worries that you may have?
Okay, yeah. This is pretty easy for me. Like, let's just start with obviously the elephant room in the room on that question. Offensively, let's start with Bryce, since we were just talking about it. Just for me, I just need to see him look decisive, right? I don't need to be perfect. I just need him to be in command of this offense. I want to see good, clean footwork, good timing, no deer in the headlights hesitation. That's it. That's all I'm asking for.
Okay.
I think it's very realistic. I don't think it's a high expectations. It's just a preseason game. But that's what I expect. I mean, and in the series, I expect him to like what would ease my mind of everything is he just in the first drive goes down there, they score a touchdown, right? It just ease
Okay,
my
gotcha.
mind very cold-heartedly. But if they go down there and then let's say they don't score, kick a field goal, okay, great. Then go out there. I would like to see them go down there and score a touchdown. But really, just for Bryce, is just a few things. Look decisive, good footwork, just be command of the offense, good timing. That's it. Offensive line, really don't have to worry about them. I know they're going to protect, even though we've seen some things in training camp, like some mishaps. But again, I love
Mm-hmm.
what the defense. I've been saying it, just because our offensive line hasn't looked like we saw it last year in training camp, could mean that the defensive line got better, which is, in my mind, a wonderful thing because after last year. So, but I know the offensive lines will be fine. Even in basic sets, they'll be fine. I know they'll give Bryce time to throw. And I just want to see from the wide receiver standpoint, though, because I know a lot of people are very hyped around that because of this group. It's so stacked, right? But just want to see some cohesiveness. That's all. Wide receivers getting open, route spacing, play calling, that doesn't feel like, a chaotic experiment, just crisp, functional football, get a few first downs, get a red zone look or two, enough. That's enough to breathe easier for me, right? Now on the defensive side, I want to see these rookie pass rushers. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
Scourton and Umami Allen. I don't know if Scourton's going to be out there. I know he's been dealing with some hamstring. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow.
Okay.
Because there were some, skepticism on that, but I would love to see it. I feel like those guys should flash. I feel like Scorton's more the disruptor, whereas Umami Allen's going to be that guy that gets the sacks, right? That's the way I look at
Mm-hmm.
him. I feel like Scorton's more like, when we had Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns, I feel like Scorton's more like Burns, who was more the disruptor, didn't get as many sacks, but Umami Allen is Hassan Reddick, but I think Amami Allen reminds me a lot more of Josh Sweat when I watch his tape. But speed off the edge, get some pressure, make the quarterback uncomfortable. That's really what I expect from the pass rush. Now, secondary, I just want to see it hold its own, man. Don't blow any coverages. Who was supposed to be there, right? I don't want to see none of that. Like who was supposed to be there moments. You know what I mean? So overall, the defensive starters should just show me some discipline, energy, no confusion, get off the field. Like this is like for me tomorrow, this is not about domination. It's about
Mm-hmm.
showing that they're sharp, they're well coached, and not repeating the same mistakes like last year. That's it.
Okay, I feel you on that one. I feel you. Now on offense, I agree with everything you said, and also I want to see. Okay, if Miles Garrett plays, I want to see him and Icky. I want to, if Icky's only out there for a drive or two, I want to see Icky. I ain't gonna say handle him, but I want to see Icky go up against him and and take care of business. All right,
Right.
because what was it? Icky's rookie year, his first game. Miles Garrett had a
You had
couple
to go.
sacks on him. It was a rough game for Ick. It was a rough game for him. A really rough game. But I just really want to see him go out there, for however length of time he's on the field and be good. I'm not too worried about, like you said, our offensive line. I think the run game will be just fine. Our wide receivers, I think they'll be good too. On the defensive side of the ball, I want to see how we look against the run. Okay, especially the starters, but even still, even on down the depth chart, the second string, third string, or whatever. What I don't want to see is these guys teeing off and getting, 4 or 5 yards down the field before somebody even, lays a finger on them.
Mhm.
That's what I don't want to see. Now, mind you, it's preseason, but there are some things you can go out there and be like, okay, yes, that does look better. All right.
Yep.
And like you're saying, Derek Brown probably won't play. I know JC Horn won't play, but Dan Morgan this off season, he has made it an emphasis to add players that will help stop this run. Okay,
Yep.
you got Trayvon Merrick back there at safety. Even Christian Roseboom.
Oh yeah.
I think he will be a good fit for this run defense as well,
Well,
because when he diagnoses a play on the film that I've seen, when he diagnoses a play, he is gone.
yeah.
He hits gaps and he's a decent tackler too. And that's another thing, tackling, tackling. If I see somebody throw a shoulder tackle out there against anybody in Cleveland Browns, I'm gonna if I have a drink, I'm gonna throw it on the field. I promise you. I'm telling you, they gotta tackle. They have to tackle.
Yeah. I mean,
Mind you, preseason or not, tackling is fundamental.
yeah, we saw a lot of that last year. I mean, I'm glad you said that. But another thing is too is like, I'll give you some guys that I'm looking forward to seeing. Shadavion
Hmm.
Sanders, man. I mean, my
Hmm.
God, dude. You talk about a guy that has just, you know, has slimmed down and then looks like who's a guy that his size look is in the tight end position and running like a wide receiver. And he's gotten more efficient in the blocking, from
Hmm.
reports and people out there saying that. So for him, but another guy that I'm looking forward to on the defensive side is Cam Jackson.
Yes,
Cam
sir.
Jackson, it looks like an absolute monster. After what I saw
Hmm.
him do to that boy the other day, and just put him
Yeah.
straight down on his behind, like it was nothing. I was like, "Yo,"
Hmm.
I was
Facts.
just like, "This kid is this
Yeah.
kid, there's a lot of potential there." Him and Jaden Crometti showed out yesterday. Honestly, Jaden
Hmm.
Crometti looked what good as well. So the defensive line, man, I just think we've got so much depth there. Again, not going to bring up Shy Tuttle. I know that's like we all know that's like a curse word
Oh, I
around
am.
here.
I am. But yeah, man.
So,
That and that's another player. I'm just like, ah. But you know what though? If he can go out there and hold up,
right.
you know what I mean? I
Yep.
will be I'll be happy with that. And
Yep.
like Dennis was saying on Doug's live, he was thrust into that starting role, at nose
Mhm.
tackle when in this defense he should be part of a rotation, but then we had a bunch of injuries and it was
Mhm.
Shy Tuttle and then God, it was who was playing behind him last year, nose tackle. I mean, LeBron Ray sometimes, and
Yeah.
I think Deshaun Williams that came back. He lined up at nose tackle every
Yep.
now and then,
Yep.
and it was just a mess.
It was.
It was just an absolute mess. But
Yep.
but yeah, man, and also let me say this. Let me say
Mhm.
this. Okay, I want to see what Nick Scott is going to do. All right, because it's pretty clear he's not on the bubble. Okay, the Panthers have him. I know it was just the first depth chart, but they have him as a starter. That might change, but I think it's safe to say that he's definitely going to make the team. But I definitely want to see improvement from him, from last year.
For
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
got to. Okay, and real quick, let me highlight super chats, and I think Nick Tri-State gave us both super chats.
Uh-huh.
Four ninety
Looks like it.
nine and another 499. So I think that's one for both of us. We appreciate
Yep.
you, Nick Tri-State. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He
Thank
says
you.
great duo of podcasters. Hit the like button, y'all. Yes, we greatly appreciate you. Make sure you hit that
Appreciate it.
like button. All right, thank you, Nick dog. Appreciate you. But yeah, man, and one thing I want to see with the starters too, communication.
Yes,
Okay. There were
defensively.
a lot of plays last year, and starting from week one on the first drive for the Saints, the first drive when my man caught that touchdown, and I think it
Oh,
was
yeah,
Mike Jackson looking back at Jordan Fuller, looking like, well, bro, I thought you were supposed to be there, but that theme continued throughout the whole season.
they did.
Okay. There were a lot of plays where, somebody was expecting another one of their teammates to be somewhere and they weren't, and vice versa.
Right,
So I just want to make sure, I just want to see that communication on the defense is, if it's not exactly where it needs to be, it's better than last year and close.
right.
Okay. So yeah. Yep. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Poppin', what's going on, big dog? How you doing?
Oh, that.
Let me see. Debbie said, "Hey, no, Shy and Nick have to have to go. They have to go." Hey, wait, you know what? Like I said, Nick Scott is gonna be here, okay? And we
Unfortunately,
talked about this yesterday. Shy Tuttle might be on the fringe of getting cut. He just might be. He just might
I
be.
mean, you don't take a pay cut of like $3 million for no reason. I mean, they were like, I mean, they were like, dude, if you don't step it, like, we're gonna cut your money if that, and
Mm,
or we're gonna cut you, or we'll give you less money, but you got to show us that you're gonna step up this year. And I
yeah,
guarantee you that's what they
facts.
basically said.
Yeah. Well, at least he wants to be here. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, I
At
mean,
least
and
he
that's
wants to be here.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
fair. But it's just like, bro, like you've been here, 2 years and have done nothing.
Yeah. But I stand on this. He's playing out of position. But
I
we'll
I I
see.
can I can I don't disagree with that either.
Okay. All right. And before we move on, hey, let me tell you, shout out to the GOAT, Mr. Hunky Dory, for the 20 gifted membership,
Yeah,
man.
gum.
Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. Everybody who's now a member, welcome to the front office. And let me tell you, once the season gets started, we're gonna get a lot of things popping off. So again, Mr. Hunky Dory, the MVP, one of the greatest of all time. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Nice.
Appreciate you. All right.
Shout out to Mr.
Okay.
Hunky Dory.
Yeah. And you know what? And I do apologize, y'all. I realized that I am doing my slides a little different than I did the other night. And I realized the mistake that I made. And I wish I would have done this while I was sitting here watching the first part of this game. But I'm gonna try to get this, try to get through this tonight. And especially to you, Nakari. I apologize. Okay. My bad. All right. So let me get to the next slide here and let me see what we're going to do. And yeah, okay. So hold on. All right. So, Clay, which player, all right, in your opinion,
Hmm.
needs to show up the most in this game? Okay.
Phew.
Yeah. Which player do you think needs to show up the most? And when I say that, I say that because in this particular game, and the guys that I got up there, I feel like are all fringe players. It was Raheem Blackshear, David Moore, and Shy Tuttle. Okay, so anybody in your opinion, is anybody who needs to step up? Who needs this game to go out there and prove something from the jump?
I mean, would I be wrong to say Tedero McMillan?
Mm,
Because he is a top 10 pick, right? I mean,
okay.
you know, you got to expect him to eventually become the wide receiver one. Like if he's as advertised and what we've been seeing, we should get glimpses of that now, right?
Mm,
Whether it's a
yeah.
red zone target or just physicality on a sideline route. Like I just need him to just show me something. Now, again, we've seen it in training camp. He showed me stuff in training camp. I want to see it in this type of situation, right? I want to see it in a real game scenario. You know what I mean? I was gonna say Hunter Renfrow too, but the problem is Hunter Renfrow is gonna be out, so that doesn't really do it for me on the offensive side. But yeah, I think for just me from the offensive side, yeah, Tedero McMillan. I mean, it's just because he's the top 10 pick, and I just want to see, what I got, right? Out of that investment. So I want him to just start showing it. Not saying that I don't believe in him and I don't think that
Mm,
he had the skill set or anything. It's just, you know, it's just like I said, you expect him to eventually become that wide receiver one. And if he, like I said, if he's as advertised, I want to see those glimpses, right?
Okay.
From right now. Offensively, I would probably say another person offensively. Again, it was just like we were talking about Jadavion Sanders. I really want this tight end room to really, really work out. Like, I really
Mm-hmm.
want the tight end room to really work out. I really want um Jadavion Sanders to really become that number one tight end that we haven't had since the Greg Olson days. And right
Facts.
now, what I've been seeing is like he is on that trajectory, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
gotten more efficient in the block game, even though he is slimmed down. He's
Mm-hmm.
still just as efficient in the blocking game as he is in the passing game, and I think that's another guy. But really, that's the only one on offense. Now on defense, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to say my guys. Like, I really want to see Nick Scorton and Princely. One of them. I want one of them to show they're more than what the camp hype. Right. I
Yeah.
want to see
Mm-hmm.
pressure. I want to see good hand usage. Right. Some tackles for loss would help. As well. And then my two other guys on defense to this question is Shaw Smith Way with
Mm-hmm.
Horn likely out. Right. This is a good moment for
Facts.
him. Right.
Facts.
Guy
Mm-hmm.
who's fighting for that starting nickel job. He has to keep stacking those positive reps. So him and then Lathan Ransom, man, that safety room is wide open. I think if he wants to start week one, it starts with him making plays tomorrow. So I'm gonna say those are my guys on defense.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Hey, and the other MVP around these parts, Flame for
Yeah,
Jesus. Hey, let me tell you, hey, thank you, man. Another 20 gifted memberships, man. I don't know what to say. Again, man, you got to send me a message on Twitter or something, and I gotta get you something. You and Mr. Hunky Dory, man. Again,
nice.
I appreciate y'all and everybody that is now got a membership. Welcome to the front office, man. Thank y'all for being here. Flame for Jesus, as always, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you. Okay.
Shout out to Flame for Jesus.
Yes, for real. Now for me, who needs to step up the most? Let me tell you, I think, one of the persons I had on the slide was Raheem Blackshear. I think he's going to have to, you're going to have to, he's going to have to take a couple points back for touchdowns. You know what I mean? Because I don't see right now a way for him to make it, as like the fourth running back. I don't think they're going to keep four. And then in that same sense, it's probably going to be hard for him to make it as a punt returner too, because they're not going to keep somebody that's just a punt returner and that's it. It's not
No,
like the kicker and punter
you got to
position.
be able to contribute in other ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Hmm.
you look at that punt and return and kick scenario, man. Like, you've got Leggett can do it, Jimmy Horn Jr. can do it, David Moore,
Hmm.
Hunter Renfro. Like, you've
Renfro.
got so much depth in that, and for that, it's like I just don't see a place for Blackshear. I just don't, and I agree with you though. He's
Hmm.
gonna have to do something to like you said to really keep himself here.
Yeah, I feel you. And I also had David Moore up there as well. And it's crazy because I kind of feel bad for David Moore because, a lot of people, including myself, kind of think he is going to be the odd man out if Hunter Renfro, he's dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury now, I do believe. But if he gets himself right, because Dave Canal said him and Nick Scorton are in what they like to call ready to play protocol. They're dealing with the injury, but if it's game day, regular season, there's no question they're going to be on the field and they're going to be playing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And if we can get the Hunter Renfro that's been the Hunter Renfro when he was in Vegas, out there just straight saucing people up on routes, making them look bad, and I know a lot of people aren't really that high on Hunter Renfro, but I have a hard time seeing, David Moore on the roster,
Me too.
if they don't keep seven wide receivers. And I know
Mm-mm.
David Moore, I said he only wants to play for Dave Canales, and my thing is I hope there's a way that he works it out where he can keep, seven wide receivers, on the roster. Now, mind you, that's going to take away from another spot. What that spot will be, we don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we have to
But
see once the roster
it's
come
it's
out. Go ahead,
hard
bro.
to keep 7. I mean, we've kept 7, but you've kept 6 and then you kept 1 or 2 on the practice squad. So it's not so
Exactly.
you're not keeping technically you're not keeping 7 on the 53. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I've ever seen a team keep 7 wide receivers on their team. I've seen 6. I think Carolina at most at one point has kept 6, but I've never seen a team keep 7. I just don't see that happening. So it's not like it's something that happens around the NFL either. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, and on defense as well. Again, I had Shy Total up there. You know, I do think he needs to go out there and ball out this season as well. One player that I kind of had on this list was Bam Martin Scott. You know,
oh yeah.
last week, but Claudin. Okay, Josie Jewell. Got he's done with football for the moment. Claudin Sherrillis got hurt the other day. So
Yep.
again, you know, now it's like, you know, he does have a legitimate shot, you know, to make this 53-man roster. You know, so for him, you know, if he goes out there and balls out this preseason, I think he can pretty much, you know, almost assure himself a spot in that linebacker room. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Right.
him, our cornerbacks, Bartholomew, Corey Thornton, Caleb Evans. You know
True.
what I mean? I think all of them need to go out and put their best foot forward this preseason, because you know how we know about J.C. Horn. He's only had one season where he's been well, mostly fully healthy. He missed 2 games last year, and then I think the other season he had was, oh, when Wilkes was here. He missed a couple games at the end of that season, but played for the most part of the season.
Right.
But you know, knock on wood, but you know, God forbid we have injuries in that secondary at the cornerback spot. You know, we're gonna be looking like we need y'all to step up. So
Yeah,
what they
I
can
think
do
the guy
now,
in
they need
that
to do it.
yeah, I think that guy to kind of piggyback off you there is Um, I think the guy that's out in that corner room right now is Evans. I think Corey Thornton and Bartholomew's stock has risen,
Mm-hmm.
through this training camp. Those guys have been making plays and stepping up. And they did even yesterday in the joint practice. So, Caleb Evans, his name hasn't even been thrown around. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the odd man out now at this point.
Doug said, "Don't nobody want your action figures." It's gifts.
Action figures.
He talking about the chain I got.
Uh,
That was a good one, Doug. I like that one. That was a good one. Hey, and again, and I know I'm missing a lot of comments, so y'all forgive me. But again, hey, shout out to Flame for Jesus for the $5 super chat. He said, "Believe it or not, we blitzed ninth most in the league last year. We just didn't have the talent to get them home." You know what? And I feel you. I feel you, because if you look back at a lot of the film from last year, you will see them bringing an extra blitzer or two. But
yeah,
the opposing teams, the offensive line, it's like their discipline was always on point when whoever the Panthers played, you know, and then you have a tight end or a running back, you know, just holding their own against whoever we send on the blitz. You know what I
right,
mean? Now, mind
right,
you, there was some times where it did work. You know, it wasn't like just ineffective the entire season, but for
right.
the most part, Flame for Jesus, I agree with you on that one. I agree. I think the talent is much better, you know, to get to the quarterback and get home. So yes, I do agree with you on that one. But yeah, man, and again, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. But
He's
but
cooking.
yeah, man, you know, it's wild. There are a lot of people, you know, out here that just really need to put something on display. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it would kind of help ease the anxiety of Panther Nation. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you can tell that Dave Canales, Dan Morgan, Evero, all the coaches, they're probably sitting back looking at us at our podcast and be like, "Yo, like these cats are crazy. Like they going off." And we went to the I think it was like Chalk Talk
yeah.
with the Panthers down at night theater,
Oh, okay.
and you could see and hear the excitement in Evero's voice talking about this defense. You know what I mean? And even just listening to Dave Canales, and he's always super positive. And I
For
think
sure.
that I think that bothers some people, and it's sometimes it's kind of annoying just a little bit because it's like, dang, like we know everything ain't going good. Like tell us a little something about something else. But I respect it. That's him. That's how he does it. That's how he does things. But I do believe, and even like Dennis was saying before, these coaches, they're high on a lot of these players that we're all sitting here scratching our heads like, why didn't they bring anybody at this position? Why are these
Right.
guys still here? But yet the coaching staff is like, nah, we got a plan. We see more than y'all, so I gotta respect it, and and just go with it for now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm excited for this defense too. I mean, I think we've seen a lot from this defense in training camp, really stepping up in the run game. Like yesterday, there's plenty of highlights out there of our defense stuff in the run against now again
Mm-hmm.
the Browns, and I'm not sure if it was second string or third string, but still at the same time, even if it is, that tells me that there's depth here, right? There's more
Mm-hmm.
depth on that defensive line than we really realize. So I look forward to this defense. I think it's definitely going to step up, and I'm so happy you mentioned Bam Martin Scott because that's my guy as a Gamecock fan. And
Mm-hmm.
like he would have been. I think he would have been a higher draft pick if he wasn't 25 years old. But
Oh, gotcha.
but he's 25, so it's like he didn't. Nobody is going to take a chance on a 25-year-old. So,
Okay,
but
I got
we
you.
did, and I think it might actually end up working out.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so my next one, and I think I got it right this time. So my next one is kind of the curveball that I said I was gonna give you.
Sure.
Okay. And I asked this question on Monday night too. All right. So let me get the comment off the screen. All right.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so for those on the proverbial hot seat, whose seat is the hottest? Okay, and let me tell you, depending on which way you think, okay, these two right here probably are one and two, depending on which way you think. And Eternal, I know you said no Evero slander, but I had to throw him up there. All right, so Clay, let me know what you think. Who and if and like I said, and whoever it is, if it's multiple people, let me know whose hot seat is the hottest.
I'm gonna have to probably say, can I say both at the same time?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a very tough question because this could go really either way, I feel like, right? Because Bryce is under more pressure, I think, publicly,
Mm-hmm.
but Evero may be on the hot seat internally. Okay. What I mean by that is Bryce Young right now, I think it's probably more under the microscope, but he still has, a chance, obviously, right? I think he's under some massive pressure because really this is the year year 3 is the year where we expect quarterbacks normally to break out, right? You go look
Yeah.
at Josh Allen's first 2 years, it was rough for Josh Allen the first 2 years. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
comparing Bryce Young to Josh Allen, so relax. But I'm talking about from a statistical standpoint. Josh Allen didn't throw his first 4,000 yards until his third year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would say it's not like for Bryce, it's not like not a quite a hot seat in the traditional sense yet.
Mm-hmm.
And, we all know why he's under pressure though. Number 1 overall pick, entering year 3, right? And we saw growth last season, right? And now he's under the same system, same head coach, um, and it's one that really seems geared toward him. Plus, with all the weapons, I can't remember the last time I've seen a quarterback here in Carolina that's had this amount of weapons to work with,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, um, the reason why I would say he's probably not as much on the hot seat as Evero is because if you look at it from this standpoint, he's still on a rookie contract. It's not like we paid him millions, 120 million, 140 million, $250 million contract. It's
Yeah.
nothing like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're technically still under a new regime. We're only in the second year of Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, which does give him likely at least this year and probably maybe one more, if that. For me personally, I'm not willing to give him another year after this year because I just feel like this is your year. This is your time. This is your third year. You have to prove to me that you're the guy now. Okay.
Facts.
Am I a
Facts.
believer in Bryce Young? I do. I think the kid's got all the talent in the world. We've seen it time and time again and again,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Yep.
I would say under pressure, but not in danger unless this year is just a complete disaster. Okay. Now on
Okay.
Evero, I think he's coaching for his job because Evero is in a tricky spot right now, right? He
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely on the hot seat because he was retained from the previous coaching staff, which means he isn't Canales' guy, right? Canales asked him to stay here, right? Maybe because I don't know if Canales couldn't get the defensive guy he wanted, but
Mm-hmm.
the 2024 defense again was so terrible down the stretch, especially in terms of takeaways and fourth quarter execution was just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They invested in that side of the ball. You went out, you got Trayvon Moehrig, Bobby Brown III, Tershawn Wharton. You got Cam Jackson, then you got two you know, early round edge rushers, right? You added to the
Mm-hmm.
secondary depth, right? If this defense doesn't improve, I have to say, well, if the talent has improved, then how is this not on him? Because if things go south, Canales could want to clean house and bring in his own DC in 20. He moves somebody up within, which I know a guy that I would love to move up as our DC if it's not a Jiro Evero. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing, Evero still has a shot. I think he's well respected around the league. Several teams interviewed him for head coach gigs last offseason. So obviously there's that. The defense has raw talent. He's working with a young core that's probably going to need some time. But this
Mm-hmm.
defense has shown growth through training camp. So even if the offense struggles, he's probably likely to stick around. I don't think he's doomed either, but if the defense just again underperforms and the team becomes an absolute disappointment from the defensive side, Evero is more likely to be replaced than Bryce. I mean, I hate to say that because, I think it's the truth because if we're talking about fan and media pressure, it's Bryce Young all day. But if we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about job security and being on a short leash, that's a Jiro Evero.
I got you. Hey, you know what? And Papa made a good comment. Said Bryce isn't Canales' guy either, so both could possibly be gone after this year. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
let me give my thoughts. And I said this again the other night. I do believe that Bryce is hot. Bryce's seat is smoking hot. It's popping. Also said another comment. They both cooking in Crisco right now. But I believe Bryce's seat is smoking, like smoking. Okay. Now Evero, and I said this, I don't believe Evero's seat is quite as hot because of the way last year ended and Canales and Morgan, they came out and seemed to have a lot of confidence, a lot of faith in Evero, and they was like, yes, he will be back as defensive coordinator because just like Eternal, says earlier in the live, he didn't have all the weapons that he needed on defense, okay? And you get Evero, and he makes this effort to add talent to the defensive side of the ball. Okay, but the thing is, though, I don't think that Dan Morgan is done with that side of the ball. Especially going into next year's draft. But again, if Evero does go out there and the defense does have a good year, just think about somebody else. Now I don't know if he'll be guaranteed a coaching spot, but I throw this out here. I wonder if somebody would want to sign him as their defensive coordinator. You think about somebody who just say maybe somebody moves on, or somebody steps down as defense coordinator, but that team is probably in a better spot defensively than the Panthers. He might, just kind of slide positions and go over to another team as a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if his goal is to be, a head coach, he might be here for this year and next year because just think about it. If this defense shows improvement this year, you go into another year with Dan Morgan calling the shots. He has another good draft. He brings in a few more free agents because I don't think you're going to see Dan Morgan spend as much money in free agency next year as you've seen him do these past 2 years because there's a lot of contracts that the Panthers have given out, and there's a lot of people coming up for new contracts as well. So I do think the money is going to be, I ain't gonna necessarily say like super tight, but there's a lot of people that's going to get paid. You know, Icky's coming up. If Icky has a good year, you know he's gonna get signed. If Bryce has a good year, you know what I mean. They're probably going to go ahead and lock him down. He's going to his fourth year. They may or may not. You know, they may or may not. They may do like Icky. They may wait till his fourth year, say, okay, we're going to go ahead and pick up your fifth year, and then we'll work on it after the season and whatnot. You know, so
Right.
it's a lot of it's a lot of factors, you know, in it. But I think, you know, I think that Evero will probably be here this year, and if we see improvement, he'll probably be here next year too. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think it goes for both of them. You have to see progress. Like you had, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect Bryce to go out there and throw for 4,000 yards. Honestly, when I did my early predictions, I think I said over 3,800 yards, 25 plus touchdowns, and keeping the interceptions between 10 and 12. If you can go out there and do that, then you've saved yourself another year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think on the Evero side, like you just have to show that this defense is developing and moving in the right direction. And I think it's got to be at least a top 15, top 20 defense. It has to be for him to keep his
Mm-hmm.
job. I think like the perfect number defensive ranking would be like 17th for this
Mm-hmm.
defense. And then if
I
you can
got
have
you.
a 17th defense and what this offense really could be, you can win a lot of football games in the NFL this season. It just comes down to player development and progress. Again, that's why I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. Like I see a ceiling, I see a floor. I'm probably reaching more towards the middle because again, I see this as a progress year.
I got you. Facts, facts. And a real quick, Grace, I'm gonna get back to your comment here in a second. Again, thank you again, Flame for Jesus, for the $5 super chat. He says, my question is for Clay. He said, when does the front office get some blame? Tepper and the front office blocked Evero from making a lateral move.
That's true. I mean, Flame Cheese. It's true. I mean, I can't, there's no argument there. Like, and I don't disagree with it either. Like, it's just like at the end of the day, it's Tepper is finally taking some step behind. I mean, at least
Mm-hmm.
from what we're seeing, I don't know how true that is. But front office definitely deserves some blame, and Dan Morgan could have been is also involved in that, so we could blame him too. But again, at
Yeah.
the same time, this is not Dave Canales' guy, so I do, and neither is Bryce, just like Poppin said. So I agree with that too. You know, I just don't see if neither one of these guys, like obviously, like I said, if Evero does not make this defense progress in the right direction, and Bryce doesn't come out, he comes out these first two games, and we see the same thing we did last year. Yeah, it's going to be a
Mm-hmm.
long season, and neither one of them will be here next year.
I feel you. I feel you. And again, Flame for Jesus, thank you, big dog. Appreciate you. Hey, my other guy, Tip Drew Will in the building. What's going on, man? Hey, he says, thank you for the
And
five
win
super chat.
season low.
10 win season low and keep pounding, fellas. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you, dog. Appreciate you. And let me get back to Grace's comment. He said, who do y'all think will be the final wide receivers on the roster after preseason? If
Good
things
question.
go the way I think they'll go, it's going to be Ted, XL, Renfro, Thielen, Jimmy Horn, and Coker, and Jalen Coker. Okay, and the thing is, Coker I think he's flying under the radar, but I do want people to
He made
realize
some plays yesterday.
yes, he might have a way better season than everybody who's getting a lot of this hype so far this year.
I got a hot take.
Hmm.
I think Jalen Coker could be the successor for Adam Thielen. And here's the reason why I say that. He's slimmed down and he's gotten faster. They said that.
Hmm.
Dave Canales said that. He's slimmed down and he's gotten faster. Could you imagine having Xavier Legette on the outside, him and Tedero McMillan on the outside, and then having Legette or Coker in the slot?
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hey, I'm gonna add on to that. think about if you have Ted on one side, Excel on the other. Okay, and I know, and just think about for this year. Think about if we went four wide receivers, one running back, and you had Thielen and Renfro, in the slot. And
You could see that this year.
think about this. Think about you add Jimmy Horn in there in the slot.
That's a
It's just
perfect scenario too, especially for like a 3rd and 7, because
mm-hmm.
I know where the ball's going on 3rd and 7. It's going to Renfro because that's his bread and butter. He gets
Yeah.
open, he'll get you those 7, he'll get you 7 to 12 yards, first down. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Facts. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But those are my 6. All right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Um.
I'm right there with you. It's Tat, Thielen, Leggett, Coker, Renfro, Jimmy Horn Jr.
Gotcha. Hey, Kendall says, who would you want to see as the next DC for us if you're ever
Easy.
released? Let me tell you, bring Steve Wilkes back. bring Steve Wilkes back.
I can't disagree because of what the guy did when he was here. I'll tell you this: if they don't bring Steve Wilkes back, I would bring in AC Carter. I would
Okay.
bring him up internally. I think that just from a continuity standpoint, he's respected in the locker room. I think he aligns with a player development mindset. If Evero is let go and Canales wants to promote, rather than go out and find some big name or whatever, like a Brian Flores or Chris Richard or somebody like that. I feel like AC Carter would be one of the most like natural cultural line choices, especially if the secondary are overachieves and this defense's problems are more schematic than foundational.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, I like AC Carter a lot and what he brings to the table.
Okay. And Blackfire, I like your comment. He says, so we finally give Bryce and Evero help, and you think they're on the hot seat after this year. I think they're on the hot seat currently, and they got to work their way off of the hot. They got to cool their hot seat off starting right now. Okay, I think potentially they'll both be off the hot seat, come next year. And I kind of feel like Evero is, his seat is not as hot as Bryce. Like I said, because of the way last year ended. And I think like I said, I don't think Dan Morgan is done with this defense as far as bringing in people. So we'll see. But yeah, their seats are hot right now. But I don't think they will be after this year right here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. So come down. I got one more slide for you, and I want to get your thoughts on this as far as the whole season and the game tomorrow. Okay. And the game tomorrow. All right.
Sure.
So predictions, Clay. Give me your predictions on tomorrow's game, and give me your predictions for the season.
Tomorrow, I'm not going to read. I wasn't going to read too much in tomorrow's game, to be honest with you, but I'm going to say Panthers win 2017. I think that both teams will rotate through rosters heavily. I think the starters won't play probably more than 2 to 3 series, if that, probably 1 or 2, really, to be honest with you. I think we'll get to see a lot of our young defensive talent and our deep wide receiver group make a few more plays than Cleveland will. And I think we'll be able to give them more than they can handle on Cleveland's backups, right? I think Bryce will look sharp in the first series. I do. I think the rookies will show flashes and hopefully no major injuries, right? Like if that happens, then that's a victory in itself and just those things, right?
Facts.
Okay. But for the prediction on the season, I'll say this. Again, I said it's a progress year. And it's just like what I predicted on, earlier, I just wanted to see Bryce go out there, and it will depend. It's just like we were talking about the hot seat thing. It does depend on Bryce this year. I mean, unfortunately, it does. I mean, Bryce needs to look decisive. He needs to. I don't want him to be perfect. Okay, you can't be perfect. I just want him to command this offense. I want to see clean footwork, good timing. I don't want to see the deer in the headlights I saw the first 2 games of the season, and then for you to get benched and then come back out there and then just show all this progression. I don't want that. I want all the progression now. Okay, like that's
Mm-hmm.
what we need to see. So I think the season will offensively, it's going to depend on Bryce. Now, again, I think they're going to be a run heavy offense this season because of having Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, which is going to take a lot of pressure off of Bryce, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And defensively, I think the biggest thing for this defense, I expect is that they need to get after the quarterback. I need to see tackles for losses. I need to see sacks. I need you just to be tackle and stop the run, right? That's what I need to see. Okay.
Facts.
But my prediction for the season, I'm going to go 8-9. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go
Okay.
8-9. I think it's a progress season. I could see 9 wins and I could also see 10, but I'm sticking with my 8-9. I said it in my early prediction video. I said my ceiling is 7 to 10 wins. Not my ceiling. My floor is 7 and 10. My ceiling is 10 and 6 or 10 and 7.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's where I'm
And
at.
all right, bet. And real quick, shout out to Flame for Jesus for another super chat. He says, I've heard a lot of people say Coker is getting cut because he's an undrafted free agent. If that's true, we would be cutting 4 and all. Turk Adam and what is the safety's name? Oh, you Damani Richardson. Man, let me tell you. Hey, I'll go ahead and say this now. There's no way in hell Jalen Coker is getting cut. He's good. He is good. Let me tell you, he's fine. He would definitely be on the roster.
Right.
Definitely. Okay. And again, thank you, Flame for Jesus. I appreciate you as always, man. I'm gonna give my predictions for the game tomorrow. I am going to say 30-14 Panthers. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead
Wow.
and speak it into existence. Yeah, so we're gonna go out there and put up some points. I do like our, offensive, first, our offensive second string and beyond, over Cleveland's. Okay, and that's just off the jump for me. But I do think that Bryce and the starters, at the very least, will drive the ball down the field and get a field goal. Okay, and I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but my thing is, if we go out there and it's a straight 3 and out, and then they get back on the field again, because Canales already said if it's 3 and out, he's gonna put them back in for another drive. You know what I mean? But if Bryce goes out, drives the team down the field, get a touchdown, great. Get a field goal, great. As long as it's not a 3 and out. But I do think we're going to put up some points, at home in the bank. So I'm going to say 30-14. And for the season, again, I say my ceiling is 10. My floor is 6. Okay. But Clay, I do agree with you. It's going to be like a 7 and 10 type of season, or 8 and 9. You know what I mean? That's my thought so far. All right. But I'm hoping and praying that does get better. I'm hoping and praying that it will be more than that. Okay. But
Yeah.
but yeah. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? And one more thing real quick before you go. Okay. All right. So I did a little short on this earlier. All right. And are we rooting for Shador Sanders? And again, let me
Oh,
say this. I hope that we go out there and beat the crap out of the Browns. But I am rooting for Shador Sanders to have a decent game. Like I'm rooting for him to do good in general. And I just want to get your thoughts. And I know, against us, probably not. But what's your thoughts on Shador?
yeah, I mean, Shador, I'm surprised he fell as far as he did. I mean, I still felt like he was one of the top quarterback prospects coming. Obviously, I thought he was the number 2 prospect off this draft board this past season. But I mean, the guy threw for over 4,000 yards, had a 74% completion percentage. So I was surprised that he fell as far as he did. But I like Shador. I think
Mm,
he has the chops for timing. I think if he's in a pro style offense, right? He's battle tested from playing, with minimal protection. Colorado's offensive line was not very good. But he still
mm,
made plays. I mean, he's smart. He's a tough pocket passer with big upside. I think he just needs to work out the kinks in his game and remember that his dad's legacy, isn't going to buy him any yards in the NFL. Like, I think he just needs to let his dad's legacy, right? Let that
yeah,
be. And then you focus on your legacy, right?
I got you.
And I think sometimes that could get overwhelming because we've seen it time and time again where athletes are these, the kids of the other athletes can kind of overtake them, right? So but he's a raw talent, and I think he's got the grit, and I think that's definitely undeniable. I'm a huge fan of him. And I've always been a huge fan of his dad, but I hope everything works out. I think he'll probably get some flashes in this game, and he'll show some stuff, but we'll see. I mean, the sky's the limit for him, obviously.
I got you. Hey, and real quick, shout out to the big Unc 2020. He said, "Yeah, where the cash app at?" Hey, let me tell you, it's right there at Armchair GM CJ,
Yeah,
man.
you can
If
send it in mine too. It's right. It's pinned up on the top. If you're
There you
feeling
go.
generous.
Hey, I do want to say this. I saw you at the game. I saw you up there on the big screen, and I saw the post you put about the shirts. Let me tell you, the second shirt the idea you had up there, that was dope. I like that one. It was kind of like the pixelated picture of them, sitting in the Bank of America Stadium. That second one is dope. But appreciate you stopping through, All right, and then let me see. Let me see. Oh, Unc said, what's good, my G's? Y'all want to collab? Hey, we can talk behind the scenes, Unc. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Sure.
All right. Let me see. All right. Hey, Flame for Jesus, man. Thank you. Thank you for another $5 super chat. He said, I can see 5 to 7 wins. It depends on how the beginning of the season goes. I hope I am wrong, but we will see. Well, I hope you're wrong too, sir. I hope you're
Yeah,
wrong too.
I hope you're wrong
But
too. I can't take another
yeah.
season of 5 wins.
Man, none of us can. None of us can, man. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, cool, man. Clay, I appreciate you tonight, dog. I thank you
Yeah,
for
man.
coming through.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I thank you for sitting through my little bit of slide mishaps here.
It's
And
all
it's
good.
crazy that the thing I forgot to do was real simple, and I was like, oh crap. I was like, I'm dumb. But thank you for that, Clay. Thank you for everybody for sitting through my little slide mishaps. I greatly appreciate all of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, man, Clay, tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, you can find me really anywhere, Twitter or X, however you want to call it. It's Roppstar 92 underscore. Same thing on Instagram, Facebook. I'm trying to grow the Facebook, guys, so please go over to the Facebook. It's just the Roppstar Report over on Facebook. And then of course YouTube, same thing, the Roppstar Report, and TikTok as well. Very active on
Oh yeah.
TikTok. CJ's on there too, so make sure you go check out both of our TikToks. But yeah, TikTok, I'm same thing, Roppstar 92 underscore, or actually, no, I think I changed it. I think I am still, I'm pretty sure I'm Roppstar, or the Roppstar Report here too. No, Roppstar 92 underscore. So no,
Okay.
I did not change it. So Roppstar 92 underscore over there. So yeah, check me out over there.
All right, cool beans. Hey, and before I get out of here, everybody, wherever you're watching at on your way out, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on X. Twix, as me and Cuz used to call it, Twitter and X. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube as well. We thank everybody for all the love and support. Thank you for everybody in the chat. I'm sorry if I didn't get to everybody's comments. I'm kind of a stickler for that. But when I have guests on, the comments, they come up. It's a lot more of them than when I'm up here by myself. And I try to make sure I put everybody's comments up. If I didn't get to you, I apologize. Okay, but whenever next time I go live, just join me. I'll see if I can't make sure I get everybody's comments up there. Okay, but okay, as always, I'm gonna leave y'all with 3 things. Okay, number 1. Y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. We'll see.